Well, I'll give the season this. This is most certainly the moment of truth. While the first episode of Super Ninja Steel wasn't terrible, that was mostly because the Dino Charge elements were more intriguing to me, evident by the fact that the episode wasn't as entertaining as soon as Sledge departed. This leads me to question whether or not this season will be able to maintain a decent level of quality now that it's transitioned into its own story, but luckily we have this episode to answer that very question. As I've stated before, the second episode of a TV show usually demonstrates if said show can stay consistent with what came before. However, since this is an anniversary season, Super Ninja Steel has an opportunity with this episode to show that it can stand on its own without the aid of nostalgia. Is it successful? Well, let's find out as we look at episode 2, Moment of Truth. The episode opens with Victor browsing for new sunglasses to improve his look when a monster called Deceptron is seen watching in the distance and telling the audience that whenever someone tells a lie, it powers up his Bolt Blaster. Victor soon finds a pair of ridiculous barbell sunglasses that he can barely see in, but decides to buy anyway after Monty says they look great on him. The lie is enough to power up Deceptron before we see Calvin and Preston meet up with the others, where Haley gives the Yellow Ranger a gift for their 2-year anniversary. Calvin says that he'll give his gift when the two have their anniversary dinner, even though he forgot about the date, but since he lied to Haley, it makes Deceptron strong enough to attack. The Rangers try to morph, but before they can, Deceptron fires a bolt into Haley's Power Star, making her unable to finish the sequence. Sarah asks the monster what he did, but Deceptron just leaves, saying he'll stop them when he recharges, and though the crowd loves the monster's actions, Madamodius is angry that he only hit one Ranger. Deceptron's not worried though, since the Yellow Ranger's on a lying streak, saying that he'll just follow Calvin until he's powerful enough to defeat the Rangers. At shop class, Mick unsuccessfully tries to remove the bolt from the white Power Star, and though Haley's upset at the situation, Sarah cheers her up by reminding her of Calvin's anniversary gift, which he continues to lie about. This doesn't sit well with Preston, however.
Can I have a word? Cal?
Me?
Yeah. You obviously didn't get her a present. Did you?
Shh. No, I forgot.
Okay, forgetting is bad, but lying about it is worse. Just tell her the truth.
I can't. It's too late. Look, I can just go out and get her gift while they're busy with the Power Star.
Okay, good luck.
Wait, I don't know what to get her. Please help me.
Okay, fine. But only because I know how excited Haley is.
Man, Peter, you're really good when the show gives you something to do. Calvin and Preston try to dash out to get Haley a gift, but they're not alone as Brody and Lee Vaden join, wanting to know what the present is. Later, the brothers ask Calvin directly what he got his girlfriend, with Calvin passing the question off to Preston, and since Preston's also forced to lie, it makes watching Deceptron that much stronger. As the lying continues, Deceptron soon makes his presence known, and though the teens morph this time around, the monster easily knocks them back. Deceptron then gloats that lies give him power, which is lucky for him since Rangers love to lie, before shooting Preston and Lee Vaden, bolting their Power Stars. The monster gets ready to finish the Rangers before Sarah appears to drive the monster off, and though the team returns to shop class, Mick still hasn't found a solution. Then there's this really odd moment with a pickle that kind of feels like a blooper that was kept in, but things get back to serious when Lee Vaden mentions how Deceptron said he's powered by their lies. Haley thinks the monster's trying to trick them since none of them have been lying, which forces Calvin to come clean about his anniversary gift. Though Haley's hurt that her boyfriend lied, she understands how forgetful Calvin can be and decides to forgive him since he told her the truth. Calvin's moment of honesty causes the bolts to vanish from the Power Stars, which is good since the Rangers are then alerted about Buzzcam activity in the city. The team heads off to find Deceptron before he can power up again, but they're a little late as the monster's been following Victor and Monty because of the nerdy one's lies. What follows is a pretty funny sequence of Victor unintentionally making a fool of himself, with Monty assuring him that everything's fine, resulting in Deceptron striking out on the city once again. Victor runs in fear of the monster, accidentally falling into a fountain before the Rangers arrive on the scene to morph into action. Though Deceptron's surprised to see the whole team morph, he decides to do things the old-fashioned way, summoning Basher Bots to take on the Rangers. During the fight, Brody, Calvin, and Sarah break off to face Deceptron, but despite activating his Battleizer, the Red Ranger's blasted by the monster. Calvin quickly uses a water attack to deflect the blast to Deceptron, and with the monster now frozen, Sarah disables his blaster. The three teens then finish the monster, who's soon gigantified, but luckily Mick sends the team new Zord Stars that he made from the Super Ninja Steel. The team then calls on the Lionfire, Bull Rider, and Ninja Steel Megazords, with everyone except Brody activating their new Ninja Super Steel mode to operate their Megazords. The Rangers knock Deceptron back before Brody calls on the Megathrone, allowing Calvin to call on the new Ninja Super Steel Blaster to finally take down the monster for good. After the fight, Calvin and Haley have their anniversary dinner at the school snack stop, as is tradition, and while their pizza's being made, Calvin again apologizes.
Look, I still feel pretty bad about not getting you a gift, so to make up for it, I made you something.
What? You made something for me? Really? A calendar with pictures of us. Oh, it's so thoughtful, Calvin. Aw.
Look how cute.
Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you. Wait. There's 2 of them.
Yep. This one's for me, though. I circled our anniversary date so that I never forget again.
Thank you.
Daw. As Calvin goes to pick up his pizza, he walks into the still blind Victor, and after an argument, the jock asks if his shades are just the coolest. Having learned that honesty is the best policy, Calvin tells Victor that he looks ridiculous, and the episode ends with Victor angrily removing his sunglasses, only to reveal that he's been horribly sunburnt. This episode is surprisingly great, though I really shouldn't be surprised since Calvin and Haley were the best part of last season, so it makes sense that their relationship would still be strong here. That said, I really wasn't expecting the second episode of the season to be this good, especially since it uses common Ninja Steel elements properly like Monkey Business did. However, this episode also adds a new dynamic between Preston and Calvin, which leads to some of the episode's best moments. The two have a really great give and take that is entertaining anytime they have a conversation with each other, and I really hope that we get more scenes like this in the future, if for no other reason than it gives Peter Sudarso some much needed variety in his character. Preston and Calvin are not the only source of comedy in this episode, however. Victor and Monty are in top form here, with their entire subplot being hilarious, which is a far cry from the terrible comedy that dominated most of the last episode. To be honest, I was going to continue using the laugh track from the last review going forward to demonstrate how juvenile the jokes would be for this season, but the comedy in this episode was so top-notch that I felt it would be inappropriate to use the laugh track here. The message of honesty being the best policy is also done a million times better here than in The Adventures of Redbot, primarily because there aren't a ton of plot holes to distract from the main lesson. It also helps that the monster's powered by lies, meaning that there's an actual consequence to Calvin lying to Haley in this episode, and it's nice that we get some character consistency with Calvin since he's been shown to be forgetful in the past. The fact that Haley's able to forgive him for lying in the same episode that he was shown to be dishonest also means that their relationship is shown to be more mature than some adult couples I've seen on television. This episode also introduced a new power-up for the Megazord, complete with a blaster, and while I know it's done solely to sell toys, I'd be lying if I said I didn't like the new look. The only problem I have with this episode is that Madame Odious acts a little out of character in that scene where she comes in screaming at Deceptron, but that's just a nitpick. Overall, this is most likely going to be my favorite episode this season, earning the strongest recommendation I can give at this point. Every aspect of this episode is almost perfect, meaning that the show is still knocking it out of the park whenever it focuses on Calvin and Haley's relationship, and I'd be very surprised if anything else this season even touches the level of quality on display here. Still, the fact that this is only the second episode definitely raises the bar for the rest of the season, so let's hope this marks a turning point for Ninja Steel as a whole. I'm Nick, aka IronBet1993, and may the power protect you. Please subscribe for reviews of Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel. Also check out Dino Charge Reviews too, episode reviews. Also there's Ninja Go, and I've got a Patreon. Go, please subscribe.